Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Jai Shri Ram. Welcome to our next episode in our complete reading of Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. In the previous episode, we saw how Vibhishana did the Sharanagati and how Shuka and Shardula have come and how the Ravana sent a message to Sugriva how Vanaras wanted to kill Shuka, but SriRamaChandra asks him to go back and he ensures that Shuka is unharmed as he goes back. Now, SriRamaChandra gets back to the sea. He has an important task to handle there. What was that? He is now sleeping on the darbhas for that night, and after that, he sits on those darbhas for quite some time, and he constantly invokes Samudra, and he asks Samudra to come and provide him a way. That's what Sri Ramachandra is doing right now. But then there is no Samudra. He is not appearing at all. After 3 days and 3 nights, after doing all the pujas, after doing the vrata, Samudra does not show up. Then Sri Ramachandra gets angry and he looks at Lakshmana and he says, Avalaypa Samudrasya Nadaseti Swayam Risamasya Kshamaacheva Arjavam Priyavadita Asamadhya Falahyete Nirgunesh Satangunaha. The Samudra is not coming. He is showing his pride. The Satpurushas, they need to have Shanti and they should be speaking in a soft tone. They should be righteous always. All these qualities are not being found in this Samudra. So I am getting angry towards him. Atma prasamsinam drushtam viparidhavakam sarvatrot prushta dandam cha loka satkurute naram. So anyone who is doing Atma Stuti, anyone who is praising himself, anyone who is doing Paraninda, he is a bad person. Anyone who is running aimlessly from here to there, someone who is Dushta, and I mean, even if he is doing all this, the world will respect to him as long as he is doing a Danda Prayogan on all the people. So, Lakshmana, this Samudra, he is not interested, he is not showing up. I am getting angry. So, now we should do something. I'll dry up this entire sea. Sasenkha Suktika Jalam Samina Makaram Tadha Adya Yuddhena Mahata Samudram Parisoshaye. When he's saying Parisoshaye, what he's saying is, I'm going to dry up this entire sea which has got all these crocodiles, alligators, all these different types of fish, and then I'll show what I am, because I am showing a lot of patience in dealing with this person, and this person, this Samudra, is considering that as my weakness. However much ever I am requesting, this guy is not coming out. So get me my arrows, get me my bow. I'm going to show what I can do. The moment he said this, Lakshmana, obviously he follows his brother's orders. So he gave it to Sri Ramachandra. Sri Ramachandra took the dhanush and then he took out an arrow. At the moment Sri Ramachandra was doing all this, the entire sea was getting agitated. The fish, all types of life that is there in the sea, all that was now getting agitated. There were huge waves that were coming out of the sea, and then all the rishis and munis, they were appearing in the sky and they were saying no, no, no. At the same time, Lakshmana, he quickly came and he stopped Sri Ramachandra and saying, please don't proceed. We are seeing some huge disturbance in the sea. Sri Ramachandra was also observing it, but he is getting angry because he waited for 3 days and 3 nights, and Samudra was not even giving him at least a courtesy call. So that was actually becoming huge trouble. And then Sri Ramachandra now was addressing Samudra and he said, oh Samudra, since you are, even in spite of I doing the puja with all the vidhana, you are not showing up, and this is a huge mistake from your side, and I am now going to give you your punishment. I am going to dry up all the water in the sea. And then he started pulling that back, and all the places in which water was there, I mean all the lakes and all over the world, all of them showed signs of agitation. And as this was happening, all the animals were crying. They were making very weird sort of noises. And at this point of time, Samudra quickly came out of the sea, and there's a huge varnana of how he was Raktamalyam Bardharha Padmaptan Bhekshana Sarvapushmayim Divyam Sirsadhariyan Vrajan. Okay, Jata Rupmayaischeva Tapani Bhushanai Atmajanam Charatnanam Bhushto Bhushanottamai. There are like 6 slokas that are doing this varna. I just read the first 2. So the meaning here is that this Samudra was wearing clothes that were having pearls and other different types of jewels embedded on them. And then he was wearing a nice mala, and he was having a lot of gold on his body, he quickly came out of the sea, and then there are a lot of the rivers who also took the human forms, and all these people they came out. And then Samudra is telling something to Sri Ramchandra. He said, "Oh Sri Rama, how can I go against nature? See, earth, Vayu, Akasha, Jala, Agni, they can't lose their qualities forever. They'll be like that only. Hence, as the Samudra, it's my responsibility to be very, very deep because there's a lot of wildlife that is living over there. Hence, even if you come here, I can't open up and I can't give you way. But then, please understand one more thing. I can give you an idea as to how you can cross the sea, but then also understand the way I am, I will not give in to anybody's desires. If anybody wants to buy me out, that's not going to happen. I will not stop the sea for anybody's sake, but I'll still help you. And I'll help you in a way so that none of the aquatic life that is there inside me would be affected in the trick in which I'm going to ask you to cross the sea. And then Sri Ramachandra says, "O Samudra, please listen to what I am saying. I pulled out an arrow. I can't leave this arrow alone. So please tell me as to how I need to use this arrow. I have to use this arrow on someone. Tell me whom I have to use on." And then Samudra says, "To my north there is a place that's called as Drumakulya, and there are a lot of Dasyus or Rakshasas who are there, and whatever they are doing all sorts of nasty things over there. I'm not able to bear it. Use your arrow, kill those Rakshasas, and clean up that place." Sri Ramchandra immediately leaves that arrow in that direction, and the arrow goes, and that cleans up whatever Samudra was asking him to do. Place from where this went out, and the place at which it was aimed at, that was previously called as Marukantara. Okay, the place from where he left. So Sri Ramchandra left it from there. The arrow went and it broke that place. It came back. Now the place now has become famous in all the three worlds. Sri Ramchandra gave it many boons. That Marukantara from where he left the arrow, that place has become habitable to people. They were getting a lot of food and all in the place. So some people actually moved out to that place also. Now coming back to the discussion between Samudra and Sri Ramachandra, Samudra immediately looked at Sri Ramachandra and he said, "Oh Sri Rama, you have a person called Nala in your army. This Nala is a son of Vishwakarma, and his father gave him a lot of boons. So this Vanara, he can easily put up a bridge on me. You all can walk across the bridge and go." Then immediately Sugriva walks up to Sri Ramachandra and says, "Whatever Samudra is saying is true." As they're saying this, Samudra quickly disappears. The Antardhana actually happens, and then Nala, in the meantime, he walks up to Sri Ramachandra and says, "Yes, I can build a setu on this place, and I really want to build one. My father has given me all those talents with which I can do." Sri Ramachandra accepts to that plan, and then here actually Nala is also talking about his personal story. Again, I'm not really getting into that story here. Please understand this much, that Nala was the son of Vishwakarma and he is blessed with the engineering techniques. So probably the father would have taught him all those techniques, because Vishwakarma is considered to be the person who is needed to do any mechanical activity in when it comes to the Hindu mythology or the Hindu belief system. And then the moment Nala says that I can build the wonderful bridge on this, immediately all thousands of Vanaras went and they went to Maharanyas, and they brought huge long trees, and they also brought some hillocks, some stones. With all this, the bridge can be made. So they brought all that stuff. Nala then used all the Vanaras. Nala also asks here for the rocks which are as long as elephant tusks. Again, Vanaras use all the resources that they have. And here it is very clearly told that when these Vanaras are bringing these huge stones and boulders from elsewhere here, they were actually using machines. I really wish there were more details on what sort of machines they were, which the Vanaras used at that particular point of time. And then they start building the bridge, and as they were bringing all these and they were throwing, right, on the first day they built 14 yojanas long bridge. On the second day they built 20 yojanas. The third day they built 21 yojanas. The fourth day they built 22 yojanas, and on the fifth day they built 23 yojanas. And that way the entire building of the setu or the bridge was complete. And all the Gandharvas, Siddhas, Maharshis, they all came, and they were staying in the sky, and they were looking at this wonderful thing that has happened. So the bridge that was built by Nala, it was 10 yojanas wide and 100 yojanas long. All these people, they saw this, and they felt very very happy about it. And then all the vanaras, they started walking across. Some of them were jumping, some of them were suddenly getting into the water, then they were coming back. Like this, they were doing all sorts of activities, but then all of them finally reached the destination, which is Lanka. And the way they reached, when they were walking, Vibhishana went by his own. I believe he went there quickly, and then SriRamaChandra and Lakshmana, they were walking in the front of the entire army. And as I told before, these Vanaras were doing all sorts of feats when they were actually moving towards that place. And finally, this entire army has moved to Lanka. Now, what will this army do once they enter Lanka? That we'll be seeing in our next episode. Sarve bhavantu sukhiनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्, सर्वं श्री साई स्मरासुं चरणारविन्दार्पणमस्तु. जय श्रीराम.